My favourite memories really it was the first real professional, I suppose, music project that I was really involved in. I mean, my history is I played guitar as a teenager and had a garage band, and stopped and started much later in life. So after a chance meeting with Doc Neeson in the cover band I had at the time, we decided to put a project together and see if we could write together. And I'd never written a song before, and actually the first song I ever wrote was "Lonely with You," which is on the album. And I've got great memories of knowing nothing about music or music recording or anything remotely connected with it. So it was a major learning experience for me from the ground up, and had to learn at a very fast pace because I was working with highly skilled, professional, and experienced people. Yeah, well, we originally recorded the first part of it in Sydney, at studios in Sydney, and then our producer Terry Manning, who's got a very long list of credits, including working on Led Zeppelin 4, and worked with many bands. I think he did ZZ Top, and if you look at his credits, it's a huge list. But he was working out of Compass Point Studios in Nassau in the Bahamas, and that's where Back in Black was recorded, amongst many other very well-known big albums. So we completed the album there, and it was like being in holy ground, if you like, hallowed territory. It was a great vibe, and just an overall fantastic experience. That it was the first album I was ever involved in, so it was really great, really good. Well, with Red Phoenix, it was a bit difficult with Doc at times. His health was always in question, and we'd done a number of shows previously under the name Doc Neeson's Angels. Doc was the frontman of a very well-known Australian band called the Angels, and we started out actually playing Angels songs under the name Doc Neeson's Angels, and then we started to write ourselves. So actually, and I grew up with this band, and used to remember hearing it on the radio, and to actually get on stage and play with Doc and some of the other guys that were in the Angels was such a wonderful experience. It was really special. It was like a dream come true. So yes, I've got many good memories of being in music, and that's certainly one of them. Was the playing with Doc, forming Red Phoenix out of Doc Neeson's Angels, and a very highly skilled bass player with us as well. Jim Hilburn was his name. He was in the Angels also. So it was just an unbelievable journey from a standing start. There's 3 songs I really like. I guess it's the ones I was most involved with. It's "Lonely with You," which is basically a finished song I brought into the room. Same with "Stranger's Arms," and one that I did with Jim and Doc, which is called "You're So Tough." Those 3 are standouts for me, and probably at that there was quite an eclectic mix of tracks on that album, because Doc had written some stuff on his own that we'd adapted to the style of the people in the band, and so it is there's a bit of funk on it, and there's some other stuff. It's a very, very interesting album, I think, to sit down and listen to for a music fan. It's a very interesting album. Of course, not every song's a good song. It's a long album. I think I should know this, but there's a lot of tracks on. There's a very good Beatle-esque ballad that Doc was very fond of. But we basically collectively wrote all the songs, if you like. But as as per normal with me, and this is the first one I've done, everybody had input into all songs. Some people had more input than others in various different songs. Well, I met Doc when I had this cover band. When I started music again in about 2000, 2001, after not playing probably since 1971. I had a cover band, and there was a big charity function for Alzheimer's being held in Sydney at the time, like a red carpet black tie event for corporates. And I used to work in a big public company, and the idea of this fundraiser was that to get people who were involved in large corporations to put bands together and have a band competition. Invite lots of people and to a black tie event and sell the tables to raise money for Alzheimer's, and that was the event. And in order to help the bands, they assigned local rock stars to each different band. I think it was 10, 12 bands entered it, and we got assigned Doc Neeson from the Angels, and I just couldn't believe it. It was just one of those serendipitous things that happens. And from that, I was always a huge Angels fan. And from that experience, Doc and I formed a friendship and a bond. And he, to my surprise, he offered just to come one night and sing. We did some Angels covers in the cover band I had, which was called the Unguided Rockets. And Doc came and sang, and from that we decided to put a project together, and started out as Doc Neeson's Angels, and which is mostly Angels songs, a couple of our own, and then it morphed into our own band called Red Phoenix. So it was quite a journey, and he was such an interesting character, a hugely intelligent person, very big intellect, and he was in his early years, he was, I think he was a high jump champion. He was a great athlete, had a great intellect, and he was a poet, incredibly, and he was a very sensitive human being as well, as one would expect with a great artist. So he was the artist, I was the pragmatist, if you like, and I suppose that's a path. It's a well-worn path for me. Because that's how I think about the someone's got to be the artist and someone's got to be the pragmatist. Maybe I'm a bit of both, but it was just thinking back on it now, talking to you, it was a highlight for me for sure.